Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to take a look over another Transformers Age of the Prime for you guys, and this time we're going to take a look over one of the new Wave 3 figures that I'm actually pretty excited for. And the one I'm going to take a look over is this right here. The Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class, the 13 Alpha Trion. Now before we continue on, I need you guys to do me a little bit of a quick favor, so I'll be right back.
Hey you! Stop what you're doing! Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and enjoy your day.
So if you guys already seen my last toy hunt, which I actually got this figure at my local Walmart at Pearland, and I'm actually pretty excited to have this in my collection. I was originally planning to get this on Amazon, probably during deals going on, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet and buying this. So yeah. So here's what the front of the package is gonna look like. You see Alpha Trion in his robot mode and his alt mode right here, which is a Cybertronian jet, I think. Yeah, I have no clue what kind of vehicle mode this one is representing, but he is a spaceship, a Cybertronian spaceship. Anyways, side of the packaging right here, you can see the artwork right here, which is actually pretty fantastic. The part of it right here for the the whole thing for the Age of the Primes. Nothing on the top, nothing at the bottom, unfortunately, so yeah. And here's everything right here. You can transform to 22 step. And it comes with two artifacts. The Covenants of the Primes and a quill that he has. And we could take a look over it later on. Of the, the full accessory, so yeah. Well, let's show off the accessory, everything it comes with, so yeah. So, let's move the box out of the way and bring all this stuff right here. You guys will know. So out of the packaging, by the way, the quill and the two things right here, it will be stored away in like a little tissue bags right there. So I'm letting you guys know. But this part right here is removable. Then you can plug it into the robot mode for the, if you guys remember the one of the episodes for G1. So yeah, his shield cape thing right here. The shield and a cape, it is a part of the accessory, so don't lose this. These two right there that you can plug it into the ship. Well, I'll show you that later on. And he comes with the quill right here, which is actually look pretty cool, but I wish they could add some more paint to it, just my opinion. And the Covenants of the Primes. And you can open this up, revealing everything right here. Now I have it upside down. But you can see his symbol right there, and this translates to, if I could remember, I did see the video on Prime vs. Prime, till all are one. I hope I got it right. If not, I do apologize for that. And also, you got a tape recorder right there, and you can see Cybertron right there. So that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, let's put it to the side, and here it is, Alpha Trion in his vehicle mode. But before we continue doing this, assembly is required, by the way. You just have to plug in to the side right there. Let's go in right there, which I'll talk about in robot mode later on. And you connect these two together right here. There's a peg and a tab right there. And there you go. So assembly has been finished. And to be honest with you, Alpha Trion vehicle mode looks fantastic. You do have his classic purple with this metallic maroon right here. And this time you have like this metallic violet color right here. I think that's like violet right there. Well, a little bit of hints of blue right there on the back. It does look great. And to be honest with you, you can barely see any robot kibble. Well, of course you do have robot kibble down here, which is the arms. This part right here, which is the leg, which is actually folded in very well. I want to say one thing about it. They do have the head right there, but it doesn't, show off like the actual head sticking out of it. This is actually pretty nice, and I think Hasbro did a good job on it right here. I wish they could add a little bit more paint to it, just like a little bit of hints of white that you can see right here, the color white over there. Just a little bit on the ship, same thing on the robot mode, which I'll talk about it later on. And it does have some weapon storage, which you come by to the bottom. There's a tab right there, and go into this slot right there. Plug it in like that. If I'm heading the right way, probably not, but I think I need to do it like this. But there you go, you tap that in, and the quill There's a tiny slug right there, and to go into this tab right there. To go in there. Easier said than done, by the way. There you go. And you actually have weapon store right there. There is a 5mm port right there. If you want to add in like I guess a weaponizer weapon right there, so you can weaponize the Alpha Trion. Also two on the side right there. You can do whatever you want, and pretty much that's it. There's actually not much to talk about it, minus it does look a bit weird, to be honest with you. Of course, there's a little gap right there, but Oh yeah, one more thing. I forgot to mention one thing. The cockpit does open up. The cockpit does open up right here. Unfortunately, you cannot stick anything like a headmaster prime master in there, so that's kind of sucks about it. And then pretty much that's it for the vehicle mode. There's nothing much to talk about. Now the transformation, on the other hand, well, it was somewhat of a pain in the ass, mostly in this part right here. The instructions doesn't make any sense, and their hazard is need to fix that shit. The first thing first is by removing the quill and the book. I like to do is by removing the cape and just leave it right here for now. It will be part of the shield, but let's put it to the side for now. So first thing first is come to the side and untap the arms. There's a tab here to go into this slot right there that you can go in like that. And this part right here will go in to this right here if you're doing, robot 2 vehicle. But for now, bring the arms out like that. Next thing to do is come by to over here and untap everything. There's 2 tabs that go into this part right here. And these little grooves will go into this part right there, but remove this for now. Bring the chest up like that. And twist the body around full 180 right here. Now this part right here, the instruction did confuse me. But there's a double hinge here and here right there. So you want to do is come by and just go down like so. And this will slide in. Next thing to do is untap the legs and spring the legs forward right here. Bring the feet up like that and bring the heels out like so. So you can have that out like that. And you want to do the same thing on the other side. Like so. Now open this part up. And you want to bring this forward. This is on a ball joint, and yeah, this is on a ball joint. And if I can recall, bring this back right here. And I guess you close this part up like that. And you want to bring this part back here like that. Now you want to bring the cape back in. Now we'll plug into his back right there. Now we'll collapse it in like this. Nice and perfectly and snug. Now bring the head back like that. Bring the arms facing forward like that. Bring the hands out like so. Do the same thing on the other side right here. And make sure you have everything nice and perfectly well. Forgot to mention you have to fold it all the way out like that. But you also need to do it when you take out of the package. So yeah. Now just bring the tripod legs back up, and there you go. And there you have Alpha Trion and his robot mode. This is my second figure for Alpha Trion, because if you guys remember years ago, my first Alpha Trion figure was the Power of the Prime, which is one of the Prime Masters. If you guys remember that, good. If you haven't, well, look it up and you guys will understand it. So yeah. And I know some of you guys are gonna ask me in the comment section why he doesn't have his long beard. Well, this one is actually representing his golden age. If you guys remember one of the episodes of Transformer Generation 1, a flashback called War Dawn, and also I look up at the wiki before I start, reviewing this. His old mode was, or an unused old mode was created for his 2005 IDW comic. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, this version of Alpha Trion you guys can see is representing from his golden age, so a younger version of him. I am pretty disappointed about that too, but hey, it is what it is. And to be honest with you, the paint scope to the detail of the figure, absolutely great. You do have a backpack kibble right here, which is a giant pain he has to deal with, which I understand that why. And it is a kind of bit of annoying, to be honest with you. Now, this figure does have some kind of somewhat complaint. You do have a gap right there, and I guess a gap right down there. And yeah, the kibble back here does interfere, but there's a hinge here and a hinge here that you can move the legs back that far. Well, if you remove the whole way, which I will show that. I will show you that later on for the articulation, but yeah. Plug that piece back in. One of the other kind of sucky part is he doesn't have any wrist swivel, so the wrist only can go side to side just for the transformation, which is kind of sucks about it. And here's the other part is this part right here. When you try to remove the Autobot symbol out of his body, it is a pain in the ass to deal with. So you had to use something to get it out. But if you got a good figure that'd come out perfectly good, there you go. But just be wary of it. Also, the silver outlines for the figure, you may scratch it a little bit. So, yeah, be very careful with it. Son of a bitch, that actually... It does will hurt your nails. I'm trying to get this out, but there you go. You can remove this out of his belly, and you can open up the arms, and you can do one of the other part of the scene. Grabbing this, I think it's like somewhat hard to do. There's actually no way to actually hold this. The only way you can do it is just by plugging it into the hands right there, and there you go. But that's actually pretty stupid if you ask me. So yeah, fuck. And the head sculpt, though, by the way, look fantastic. I think Hasbro did a good job on this one right here. So, articulation-wise, head is on a ball joint, so it does go full 360 degrees right here. Well, not a ball joint, it's swivel. Head can go up that far, down that far. Arms does go full 360 right here, but the cape can in the way, so have the arms out like that. Shoulder can go in and out like that. His shoulder pad can go up and down like that. You have a swivel on the bicep right here. Over 90-degree bend right here. Wrist unfortunately can go side to side like that, so no wrist swivel. You do have a finger articulation, which is actually pretty good, so thank God for that. And of course, he does have a somewhat of an ab crunch, but if you disconnect this part off, you can, well, disconnect this part also, and you can have like a ab crunch right here, and I guess a arcing back, but that due to the transformation. You do have a waist swivel right here, full 360 like that. The cape can move up and down like that, but I'm going to remove the cape so far. Front skirt can move up that far. Legs can go forward, back that far. Legs can go in and out. The thighs swivel right here, which, by the way, my copy has a tendency to pop off, so be careful with that. A perfect 90-degree bend right here. And a ankle pivot right here. So that's actually pretty good right there. Not gonna lie. And you do have actually a weapon storage for the book and quill, which you come by back here for the book. Now for the quill, of course, you can stick it in back here. Plug it into over there. And for the book, trying to plug it in back here, but I kind of forgot how to. I forgot how to, but you can actually store the book away, and it is actually pretty easy and simple. So yeah. And speaking of which, you can actually hold the book and quill which, by the way, you gotta be very careful with holding the quill right here, because sometimes it does tendency to move all the way down. So make sure you have it like this. And then for the book, I'm gonna open up the part saying to OR1 right here. Ah, man, this is kind of fucking hard to do, if you ask me. There we go. Just wrap the fingers around. There you go. You can see him writing on this right here, which is actually pretty nice. But not only that, if you guys remember what I said earlier, his cape can also become a shield, and you can use the quill as a weapon. So you do have some options of it, by the way. By doing that, you have to split this. It's on a double hinge. You want to bring the peg back here and connect this part back in right here. Like so. And just plug it into the side of the arms right there. And this peg right here can connect to the small peg like so. And you can see Alpha Trion with his shield. So you do have some options of it. And you can do whatever you want. And it's actually pretty cool, to be honest with you. And I think Hasbro did a good job, how you can use Alpha Trion. You can use it as a warrior to fight off Unicron, or of course him writing down to check to get histories. You can do whatever you want. It's your choice, and that's it. So yeah. So I'm gonna give it the final pose and give you guys my final results. So I'll be right back. Oh shit. Overall, this figure is actually pretty good. I do highly recommend to have this in your collection, and pretty much that's it. Also, be warned, by the way, my coffee is kind of way too stiff, I think. Mostly on the legs area, so I might have to loosen up a little bit with some lubricant. And so, pretty much that's it. So yeah. Anyways, you guys, I'm gonna end this right here. So have fun, stay safe, and I'm out.